1 minute, sir. 3, 2, 1. Yes, sir. The recording started, sir. You can proceed now.
Okay. Good evening. Today's session we're going to see about the human digestive system. Okay. So the overview of today's session is going to be what is digestion, organ of the digestive system, then what are the main organs involving in the digestion process starts from your mouth, pharynx and esophagus, then stomach, small intestine, large intestine, salivary gland, liver and gallbladder, then pancreas. So we're going to see about all these organs, how these organs going to play a major role in the process of digestion. So what is digestion? So simply said, in simple words, you can tell that digestion is a process of breaking down the complex substance into a simple soluble, water soluble substance. Okay, so what we're going to have as a meal or a breakfast or a dinner, what we're going to eat is going to be a complex compound. While it's going to be broken down into simpler substances, which we can able to easily get dissolved. I can give an example. You can take a candy, a bigger size candy. When you are going to put the candy in a glass of water, it won't get dissolved immediately. It takes some time. Okay. Now, if that candy is going to be crushed and made as a powder, then if you're going to dissolve the water, within a fraction of a second, it's going to be get dissolved. So the compound substances, which I can compare to the big size candy, and it has to be broken down, it has to be mixed, and it has to be smashed into powder-like structure. So the powder-like structure, which is going to be easily dissolved and easily absorbed by the cells, that process of crushing as a digestion. So digestion is how your body turns to food you eat into the nutrients which uses for energy, growth, and the cell repair. So for the main purpose, why are we having our food? Why are we having our meal? The main purpose is to get the sufficient nutrients for the growth of your cell or the body or the organ, and the energy which is going to be released by the each and every cell. So for that, the food which we consume has to be digested with any other way, and we have to get the nutrients. The digestive tract is a long twisting tube that starts from your mouth and ends till the anus. So start from your mouth till anus, we're going to have a digestive system. This is going to be made up of your muscle that can coordinate the movement of the food. Okay. So all the parts where you are in the digestive system, all the tubes or all the parts which are made up of the smooth muscle and which going to have the elastic property. So the food can, even though the size of the food granules is going to be bigger, and we're going to smash it and we're going to swallow as a bolus or bolus. This bolus, if we take its original shape, as it goes, enters into the esophagus, small intestine, large intestine. So all these things are all the digestive system is fully made up of a smooth muscle with an elastic property, which will be very easy for swallowing and digestion and to push or to excrete the fecal matters. So made up of a series of muscles that coordinates the movement of food. They're made up of cells that makes the enzymes. Some of cells are present in the digestive tract, which going to secrete some enzymes for the breaking down, for the separation of this compound into a smaller thing. Then made up of hormones to break down the food. So mainly, the digestive system is mainly made up of this muscle, then the enzyme, the cells which are going to secrete the enzymes, and the hormone which is going to be secreted in the digestive system. So digestion refers to the breaking down of food into a smaller component that can be absorbed into the bloodstream. So blood is going to be already we discussed about that. Blood is going to be a carrier medium which is going to carry all the nutrients, energy, and the waste product which has been secreted as a byproduct of the digestion process has to be taken by the blood, and it's going to distribute the different organs to perform the different function. Okay. So this is we called as the catabolism. Okay, anabolism is nothing but the building up of our body. Catabolism is the breaking down of the body. We call it the breaking down of substance. We call it as a catabolism. Where it's going, your larger particle is going to be breaks down into a simple soluble particle. Then it is called as a catabolism. This is going to be divided into two types. One is going to be mechanical digestion of food that mostly will be occur in your oral cavity, and the chemical digestion of your food that's mainly going to occur in your gastrointestinal tract. Okay, so I had been mentioned the word that the compound substances with the digestion, the process of breaking down the compound substances of your smaller substances or simpler substances. So what's going to be a compound substances? So compound substances is nothing but, for example, if you're going to eat meal, or we're going to have sambar rice, what happens? This rice is going to have a mixture of carbohydrate, protein, as well as your lipid, your fat. Okay, fat molecule, fat molecule. So these things are going to be a compound molecule. So these compound molecule has to be broken down into simple substances which will be easily absorbed by the blood as well as the cell, and to release the energy. So when the compound molecule of a carbohydrate has to be broken down into a simple molecule called as glucose. The compound molecule of your protein has to be broken down into a simple substance, we call it as a amino acid. Then the compound molecule of fat, which is going to be broken down into a simple soluble substance, is called as lipids, or glycoprotein, or sometimes called as cholesterol. Okay. So these compound substance has to be broken down into a simple substance, and this process we call it as a digestion. So now we're going to see about the organs of the digestive system. So what are the major organs? There are two digestive tracts. Okay, one is going to be a alimentary tract of digestive system, and other one is going to be a accessory organ of the digestive system. So alimentary tract in sense, so where the food is going to take the tract from the mouth to the till to the intestine, to the anus, will be called as alimentary tract. On beside this alimentary tract, we going to have some of the organs which going to add the catalyst, we call as the enzyme. Okay, we will call it as a catalyst to perform the digestion faster, to do the process of digestion, to fasten the process of digestion. So these organs, some of the organs or some of the glands which will be present beside this alimentary tract for the increase the process of the digestion. So the alimentary tract of the digestive system is going to consist of your mouth, pharynx, and esophagus, then stomach, small intestine, and large intestine. You can able to see the diagram. Your oral cavity. Your oral cavity is going to have the, we call it as a mouth, which is going to have the tongue, teeth. Then we're going to have some salivary glands in the mouth. Then it's followed by a pharynx, and then it's going to be esophagus. If it is goes to pharynx, then if we change the tract to larynx, then we going to have a trachea, then it becomes a respiratory system. So you should not go into the tract. When I discuss about the discussion about this system, at the time it's I told that there will be there will be some on small lid-like structure which will prevent the flow of food into the trachea, and instead of that it will be entering the esophagus. That esophagus will continue and end in a bag, a sac, the elastic sac-like structure, which we call as the stomach, where your food particle is going to be contained, and it's going to be get digested by the many digestive enzymes and digestive fluids and the acid which has been secreted by all those accessory organs of the digestive system. And from there, it will be going into your, after the digestion process, it will be going into your small intestine, in the phase of the small intestine. And from the small intestine, it will be going to the large intestine. And finally, it will be excreted as a fecal matter through then anus. Okay. So this is going to be your entire digestive system, and these are the organs which is present, liver, pancreas, which has been present. We call it as an accessory organ of the system. Till what I said, the mouth, esophagus, stomach, duodenum, small intestine, large intestine, rectum, then anus. This comes under your alimentary tract of your digestive system. So accessory organ of digestive system is going to consist of your salivary glands, which is going to present in your oral cavity, in your mouth. Then the liver, the major part of our body is the liver, which is going to play a vital role in the digestion process. Then the gallbladder, which is present in the below the liver, and the pancreas, the leaf-like projection, which is present at the base of the stomach. We call it as a pancreas. So these are going to form your accessory organ of the digestive system. Let me see the each and every part of the First, we start with the alimentary tract of the digestive system from mouth. So mouth or the oral cavity is the first part of the digestive tract. As soon as we intake our food, our digestion starts from the mouth itself. Okay. So what happens? We're going to take a meal or lunch, anything else. We're going to masticate. We're going to broken down. We're going to smash that food particle with the help of your teeth and tongue and the saliva. Actually, I can compare. I always used to give some real-time examples along with the physiological process which has taken place in your body. I can compare your mastication process, the mixing of food particles and with the saliva is called as mastigation. So then for the teeth, I can compare that mastigation process with the with the process of mixing time preparation of your down in the grinder. Okay. So here we going to have the teeth, there we going to have the stone, which is going to take in opposite direction to break down that rays or the black doll to as a one fluid like semi-fluid like substances. So there we're going to use a stone. Here we are going to use the teeth or teeth. And here if you see the process of preparing that semi-fluid substance, oftenly they will be sprinkling some of water because to stop the friction and to mix the particle and to drain properly into fine particles. So here the instead of the sprinkling the water, here the saliva plays a major role in the grinding of your food particles in the mouth. And after doing all this process, if the bacteria or semi-solid fluid, a semi-solid substance, which has to be swallow into the stomach, and this swallowing process is done by your tongue. Okay, and we can compare the tongue with that some small stick-like projection present in the grinder, which will be get attached to the stone itself. The tabletop, it is going to attach with the stone itself. You can find out the vertical stick-like, the white stick-like projection, which used to make the food particles mix. So what happens? It will stop the circulatory motion and it change the direction of the fluid and mix with the fluid fully. Likewise, the tongue also going to use here and there for mixing up of the food particles with your saliva, and it could become a semi-solid fluid. So sometimes if there is a mismatch in chewing the food, unfortunately we might bite our tongue. So this will happen properly in our life. So this is some mismatching of that mixing of the food. The tongue, even if one of the time will get stuck in between the teeth, and we will bite the tongue with the pain or bleeding. Okay. Right. Okay. Mouth is the oral cavity. It is the first part of the digestive tract, and it is adapted to receive the food by ingestion, then breaking into smaller particles by mastication and mix it with the Saliva. Okay. So the process of chewing we call as mastigation. Okay. The next is going to be your pharynx and the esophagus. Okay. So after the process of mastigation, so you can able to see the this animated diagram. Here is going to take the food, so this food has been get masticated, okay, and the sensory food has been prepared. So this food has to be swallowed inside with the help of this being the tongue. Okay, this is the movement. You can able to see that the tongue moves how it's from making the roll or to mixing the food with the saliva. Here is the tongue, which helps in swallowing the food particle. After that, we will call it as a bolus. Okay, or embolus we call it embolus. Call it bolus. The food particles. It will be going inside your esophagus as a round ball like structure, which is called as bolus. So after mixing it, when swallowing, with the tongue going to push that bolus inside the esophagus. While pushing, carefully visualize the image. See, the food has been masticated. Now it's going to get swallowed. At the time, just have an eye over here. It's going to get epiglottis, which is going to prevent the food particle entering into your larynx as well as trachea. You can have a look on it. See. So what happened? It takes the way of the food particle to enter exactly into the esophagus. Okay, can you able to see that? Right. Okay. So due to this, what happened? The food particles will be entering into the pharynx cavity as well as the esophagus. You know, the entering into the tracheal tract, respiratory tract, and it doesn't cause any damage to your respiratory system. In some cases, I have been already told taking the respiratory system, if the person used to talk while drinking water or laughing during time of drinking water or talking during time of having the meal, what happened? There will be some mismatches into that. Some slight food particle might enter into a trachea, which will be given cough reflex. Okay. So that you have to push out that food particle out from your tracheal tract or the respiratory tract. Okay. The food is forced into the pharynx by the tongue, as I said. So food reaches the opening, sensory receptors around the fecus respond and initiate an involuntary swallowing reflex. This reflex directs the food into the esophagus. The esophagus is a collapsible muscular tube that serves as a passage way between your pharynx and the stomach. So as I said, esophagus is going to collapse. It's going to be elastic pipe, which is very flexible. In other words, we can tell it's a flexible pipe, which where it will be easily helps in swallowing the food particle. And this esophagus layer, the inner layer of the esophagus, will be lined by a mucus gland, which is going to secrete the semi or fluid like substance, which we call as a mucus, which helps in the swallowing of the food without any friction. So most main purpose of this mucus is the lubrication of the food passage. So mucosa as the gland that secretes the mucus to keep the lining moist and then lubricant to easy the passage of the food. The upper and the lower esophageal sphincter controls the movement of the food into and out of the esophagus. So as soon as where we can able to find out this sphincter is the junction between your esophagus and the stomach. So where we are going to have an esophagus sphincter, which will be closed all the time and will be open when the food particles enter from esophagus to the stomach. And it will stop the backflow of the food particles from the stomach to the esophagus. And in any indigestion case or in the time of vomiting, at the time only with the heavy pressure created in the stomach, it pushes the esophageal sphincter muscle and pushes out the food particles to your mouth. Okay. So next we will discuss about the stomach. Stomach is a major part which plays a very important role in the process of digestion, that is going to collect the food particles and maximum semi-digested, not around around 30% of the food is has been digested in your mouth cavity itself, and this food is going to be digested completely in the stomach region with the help of the acid secretion as well as enzyme secretion and process which is going to take place. So stomach, which receives the food from the esophagus, is located in the upper left quadrant of your abdomen. So the left side of your abdomen, upper left quadrant of your abdomen, is going to have the stomach. The lesser and greater curvature, you can able to find out the lesser and the greater curvature are on the right and the left side respectively of the stomach. So you see, you can able to find out the curvature. There is a variation in the curvature of the stomach. Mucosal lining of the stomach is simple columnar epithelial with numerous tubular gastric glands. Gastric glands are present in the region of the lining of the stomach. So you can able to see the fundus, the outer layer of the stomach is called as the fundus, serosa, the inner layer, then the body muscles, for smooth muscles, then range of mucosa. This is the greater curvature and this is the lesser curvature. Then oblique layer. These are only muscular extremities. Esophagus, muscular extremities of variation. Then we going to cardiac esophageal feature. So here only we going to have the esophagus feature, which allows the food particles to be entering to the stomach, and this is called as a pylorus. And here we go into the pyloric feature, which will be open and pushes all the digested food into the duodenum to the small intestine, which has to be excreted through our hands. And all the things have been digested here and will be absorbed by the blood. So we can able to see this one, or we will come to the animation. The secretion of the exocrine gastric glands, which composed of the mucus, parietal, and the chief cells, makes up the gastric juice. So these gastric juice, see already this is the gastric juice present in the stomach. So endocrine cells secretes the hormone of gastrin, which functions in the regulation of the gastric activity. Thought and the smell of food starts the cephalic phase of the gastric secretion. There will be three phases of secretions of your enzyme, where we call as the cephalic phase, and the second one is going to be gastric phase, and third one is going to be intestinal phase. So cephalic phase in sense, as soon as if you're going to smell a very good food, especially if you can take in as example as a biryani, chicken biryani, as well as a smell, or sometimes if you're going to think about that today we have think immediately what happens, your salivation starts. As soon as salivation starts in sense, you feel hungry. That means your gastric juices also going to be secreted. So while thinking about delicious food or smelling the delicious food, immediately that reflex, salivating reflex, okay, salivation will start, and the gastric secretion of the gastric juice is also going to be start. So this is called the cephalic. As soon as these gastric juices has been secreted, immediately it stimulates the hunger reflex and feel us to intake the food. Okay, so this phase is called as a cephalic phase. Then presence of food in the stomach initiates the gastric phase. So what happened? As soon as you are intake the food, and if that you are chewing and the food particle reaches the stomach, where the gastric phase is going to start for the process of digestion. The food particle is going to mix with the gastric juice and it's going to break down into smaller particles and get digested with the enzymes as in the stomach. Then after that, it's going to push us with all the debris, all the foods where the nutrients, vitamins, proteins, everything has been absorbed, carbohydrates, etc. Everything has been digested and will be absorbed, but there will be some little amount of nutrients also be present, and this will be taking care of the lower digestive tract, then the small intestine as well as the large intestine, and it pushes this semi-solid substance into the small intestine, where your interstitial phase is going to be start. Okay. The presence of acid chain in the small intestine begins in the interstitial phase. Till now, I have used the word semi-solid fluid, semi-solid substance, semi-solid substance. So that semi-solid substance, when it reaches the stomach, we call it as a channel. Okay. In summary, if you want to say that channel, it resembles just like a pool. Pool, particular, it just resembles just like a pool. We call this a channel or kind. Okay. The pronunciation might be varying from person to person. It may be channel or kind. So this kind will be entering in the duodenum and it will be going to the small intestine. The other important thing is our inner cell of your stomach. This has been covered by a cell, specialist cells called as oxalic cells. So these oxalic cells will produce the concentrated hydrochloric acid. Very, very important thing, a concentrated hydrochloric acid, which we are not using in our chemistry lab also. That much concentrated hydrochloric acid will be producing in your stomach. This hydrochloric acid, the main function of this hydrochloric acid is making it while we eating the food particles, even though you're going to, for example, you're going to intake fruit, even though you're going to wash the fruit or you're going to peel the skin of the fruit, and after that also you're going to intake the fruit. Some of the germs will be getting into that food particle and it might be entered into your gastric intestinal tract, and this viruses, these bacterial microbes will get destroyed by this highly concentrated hydrochloric acid, not only for killing the microorganism, it is also used for the digestion process also. Okay. Then that's why that here the chine is going to be acidic. So till we get eating, we are not eating the acid food. We are eating some normal alkaline food, which reaches the stomach after digestion. The chine is going to be in acid form because of the secretion of this hydrochloric acid. This concentrated hydrochloric acid will be secreted every morning as soon as we wake up. What happens? We feel hungry. This is the main thing which going to initiate the stimulus of hunger. After the empty stomach, there will be a production of large quantity of the concentrated hydrochloric acid. That's what the doctors used to advise if the person is going diet. Usually, you can ask the person who is in diet, they most probably 99% these guys will skip off their breakfast. We should not ever, never, we should not skip off the breakfast. Even you can skip off your dinner, but you should not ever, ever, should not skip off your breakfast. Why? Because all the digestion process will take place and all the food particles will be washed out from your stomach to the small intestine. Even the small intestine also finish it off all its process and passes to the large intestine. And the large intestine also completes all this process and ready to defecation. Okay, so that's what, as soon as you wake up in the morning, someone has the habit of drinking a glass of water, or someone having a habit of having a cup of coffee. So immediately after drinking water or having a cup of coffee, they will go for defecation. Okay, so your food particles, everything will be pushed out from your large intestine, and your entire gastric system will be out. So it needs, our body needs energy, immediate water, but this oxygen cells will secrete the hydrochloric acid, stimulates your hunger, and immediately you should have the breakfast. This is for everyone kind notice. Please don't skip your breakfast for the namesake of your diet control. You can skip your dinner by having some fruits like banana or apple, anything like that, dinner by skipping your dinner. And lunch also you can have some restriction quantity of lunch, but don't skip your breakfast. Right. So the presence of acid chain in the small intestine begins in the interstitial phase. That's what I said. Then relaxation of the pyloric sphincter allows the chain to pass through the stomach into the small intestine to the duodenum. Okay, right. So we can see the animation. So till before previous slide, we have seen that the food particles have been chewed and activated and swallowed in the esophagus. The continuation of the esophagus, you can see the food particles. This is called as bolus. Okay, the food bolus will be coming to the esophagus and falls on this the secretion, your acid secretion as well as the enzyme. Everything is getting ready for the process of digestion and it's waiting for the food particles. As soon as the food particles enters into this fluid, what happens, you can able to find that the food particles is getting dissolved and split into smaller particles. You can see it. Okay, and it will get dissolved, and the remaining cellulose, most probably the cellulose will be will only get digested with the pushing of the remaining memories to the small intestine. Okay. So the food which we going to eat, forward everything, especially the greens, they will ask to eat because the greens what we have, what we going to eat, especially Goa, the food in Goa, then these foods will have a lot of cellulose. The cellulose what we get digested, it will be increasing, it will be reduce your constipation with the time of food. So it reduces constipation. Why? Because it has a large number of cellulose which is not going to be digested. Instead of that, all the nutrients will get digested and we will be getting the nutrients, essential nutrients from these kind of foods. Most probably we will call it as fiber foods, fiber vegetables. Next we come to a small intestine. Still stomach and enters into the duodenum and it reaches the small intestine. So small intestine begins at the duodenum and it's a tubular structure with an elastic muscular layer. The combination of the circular floor holes and the villi and the microvilli increase the absorption area of the intestine. So when you're going to see the cross section of the small intestine, you can able to find out the finger-like projections inside the small intestine, cross section small intestine. These finger-like projections we call it as a villi or microvilli, which is mainly used in the absorption of your lipids, based on the essential nutrients and especially the water. The main process of the small intestine, large intestine itself is the most of the nutrients will get absorbed in the stomach itself. But here we going to have a lot of water. Okay, the water content will be more, so the water has to be reabsorbed. So in the small intestine and the large intestine, major quantity of water will be reabsorbed, and some of the nutrients will also be reabsorbed in the small intestine. In case of your diarrhea or the loose motion, what happens? That absorption of water will take place due to some avidiosis activity or due to some bacterial activity. The absorption water will takes place. So these water will come out through your fecal matter and we will call it as a diarrhea. If it is continuous to be continuous diarrhea will happen, the water content in the body as dehydration of water will take place. So for that we will be consuming the water continuously till it gets stopped. Most probably our immune system will be taking care of it and immunity might be take care of that and it will stop within a day. Or if it continues, okay, in case the person nausea as well as diarrhea, vomiting as well as diarrhea, immediately has to be admitted in hospital for the rehabilitation. Okay. So the combination, that's what I explained. There are three major divisions in the small intestine. Okay. So from the stomach, small from the stomach, the small intestine starts, and there it is called as a duodenum. So here it is called as the duodenum, and the continuation of duodenum we call this as a jejunum. Here it is called as jejunum, and here it goes, and where the junction, the small intestine will get open in the large intestine, or the junction between the small intestine and large intestine is called as a ileum. Okay. So three major parts of the small intestine is going to be duodenum, jejunum, and ileum. Okay. So duodenum, so which receives the chain from the stomach together with pancreatic juice containing the digestive enzyme and the bile secretion from the gallbladder and bile effluents also is secreted by your liver. Okay. So the duodenum. So this is the place where you going to get your insulin, which are where you going to get the insulin secretion of the pancreatic juice, we call this insulin, which is present in the area, the pancreas will be present and it's going to the exocrine present gland is going to secrete the enzyme into the duodenum, as well as here we are going to have the liver and the gallbladder, which is present in the base of the liver, it's going to secrete your bile secretion also in the duodenum for the process of digestion of your fat. It's very important to see for this. Next, we're going to see about the jejunum. So, this is going to the midsection of the small intestine connecting the duodenum to the kidney. Okay. So, this is going to the connection between your duodenum and the ileum. We call this the jejunum. Okay. Okay. This is the small intestine. The food particles of digestion are absorbed in the bloodstream. So, most of the particles here absorption in the blood stream. Next, we are going to see the ileum. Ileum, the final section of your small intestine, which contains a villi similar to the jejunum. It absorbs mainly the vitamin B12, which we call the cyanocobalamin. Okay, which is very, very essential for the hemoglobin development, RBC development, which we call the cyanocobalamin, the vitamin B12. And the bile acid. So from this bile acid, we're going to get the bile salt by the bicarbonate system. Bile salt will get the bile salt, as well as many other remaining nutrients which also get absorbed in the kidney. So here in this we know it is unlimited. You can able to see the food particles how it's going to be entering the duodenum and the small intestine, and how it's moving towards the small intestine. So next we come to the large intestine. So this is the final end process which takes place in the digestion system, where when the food particle which comes to the large intestine, just like you see the sugar cane juice preparation start. So you can able to that the machine, they will be insert the sugar cane inside the machine and they will be taking the juice and they will be extracting the juice. But the person who is doing that process don't be throw the sugar cane as soon as you use the first stream of the sugar. You will be continuously using the same sugar cane till it doesn't get any extract from that sugar cane. So the same process is done in our digestion system also. So the food that here we should not use the word food particle. Here we have to say the fecal matter. So the fecal matter which has been entered the large intestine, which most probably doesn't have zero nutrients and some amount of water, some nutrients might be escaped. Here also the absorption will be taking place and the complete process finishes and it pushes all the fecal matter through anus. That's the main process which we're going to do, which your digestive system is going to do. The large intestine also called as the colon. The large intestine called as the colon consists of the cecum, rectum, and anal canal. So cecum, rectum, rectum, and this will be anus or anal canal, cecum, rectum, and anal, which includes the appendix, which is attached to the cecum. So this is your anal canal, this is the rectum, and this is going to be the cecum. So completely we call it as a large intestine or colon. So from here to here we call this as a from this here we call this a cecum, then rectum, then anal canal. and the appendix. So here the appendix, which we call as a vestigial organ. If that organ is absent, also there will be any difference in the digestion system or doesn't cause any side effects. But what happens is appendix might be get infected. Why? Because here the fecal matter, what it contains, which has the 90% of the bacterial activity. Here, because of the digestion, because the sympathetic is digested, most probably we will be having a lot of bacterial activities, especially the E. coli bacteria, which help in the process of digestion, and it's a human friendly. So what happens due to the fecal matter? Sometimes that fecal matter might be enters into the appendix, and it may get affecting the appendix, and appendix will get enlarged, which we call the appendix. Okay. So immediately that is treated, and the appendix has to be removed. Okay. Since this appendix, which is attached to the system. The main function of the large intestine is to absorb water. Okay, the main function is going to absorb water, and in this image you can able to see the bowel movement of your large intestine. Okay, so you can able to see how the after the fecal matter enters into the large intestine, the movement you can able to find it. It's called as a bowel movement. Okay, it's we keep everything in the direction. Moving, and it's being excreted through the anus. Excretion of this fecal matter through anus we call as a defecation. Right. Next, the colon is further divided into the colon. Is going to have a lot of parts. Okay, this is your colon or the large intestine, where we have a lot of parts in the colon. We call as the first is going to be your cecum and the appendix. So, here the ileum, where a small intestine large intestine joint, and you the appendix, and you will your cecum, and from there we can call this ascending colon, ascending colon, then transverse colon, then descending colon. Okay. So ascending, transverse, and descending. After that, we're going to have a sigmoid colon. After that, we're going to have a sigmoid, which will show in the sigmoid shape, equal to sigmoid colon, then rectum, and after that, it's going to be your anus. So in between these parts, we're going to have two flexures, which we call as the splenic flexures in the junction between the transverse colon and the descending colon. We call as splenic flexures, and here it will be hepatic flexures. Okay. So these are the main parts of your colon. Okay. So once again, I repeat that. This is the appendix, and then cecum, then ascending colon, transverse colon, descending colon, sigmoid colon, rectum, and anus. And here you get the two flexures, which is going to be your on your right side, you get the hepatic flexures, and left side you get the splenic flexures. Okay. So till this we have discussion about the alimentary tract of the digestive system. So from the mouth through use of others, stomach, small intestine, everything. So the movement of your either particles or the movements will be in peristaltic movement. Okay. So peristaltic movement in the sense this you can hear the previous this is called as peristaltic movement. If you see carefully, you can find if the fecal matter, let it be any kind of matter, moving one by one. Okay. So what happens? This will be this section will be get relaxed, and other section will be get compressed. So just like a pulse. Okay. So one section will be get relaxed, and other section will be get constrict, and likewise the food will be moving in the peristaltic movement of the. It won't be of rushing of or flowing of kind of motion. It will be having a peristaltic kind of motion. Right. Next we come to the accessory organ of the digestive system. In that first we will discuss about the salivary gland. So salivary gland is an exocrine gland, that produces the saliva through a system of gut. So there is two kinds of glands because the endocrine as well as exocrine. Endocrine glands are ductless glands. So what are these glands will shed or releases the enzymes or the hormones directly into the blood, whereas the exocrine glands will share the hormones or blood through a duct. Okay. So it's going to have a duct and it's going to be at a particular spot. It will be entered into the bloodstream. So that's what the salivary gland is also called as an exocrine gland. So the salivary gland has the enzyme called the saliva, which produces saliva through the duct. This saliva is an enzyme which is rich in alpha amylase, which is an enzyme which is used to break down your carbohydrate or the starch. Starch is the compound of the carbohydrate into a maltose or glucose. So in the mouth itself, the digestion of your carbohydrate takes place. Okay, with the help of this alpha amylase, or simply if you want to take it as salivary amylase. Rather than for us, if you can't remember the alpha amylase, you can use salivary amylase, which is used for the digestion of the maltase and glucose. And we going to have three major salivary glands present in the oral cavity or oral cavity. One is the parotid gland, and other one is the submandibular gland, and other is the sublingual gland. So in this diagram, you can able to see this is going to be a parotid gland, and it's going to have a duct which will open with your mouth. And here is going to be a submandibular, which is the mandibular region, which is called submandibular, sub means under. Submandibular gland, which is saliva, and this is a sublingual gland, which we can able to feel that sublingual region. Beneath the tongue, you can able to touch the small protection beneath the tongue with your lower jaw. And if you want them suck, if you feel of sucking, then you can be able to get the saliva from the sublingual gland. So this saliva is going to play a major role in the digestion as well as the mastication process to mix the food completely with the saliva. And the parotid gland, which plays a major role in the process of this mastication and helps with the swallowing of the food particles from the mouth to the esophagus. Next, we will see a very important organ called as liver. So liver is the very big organ present in our human body. So just to your right side part of the abdomen, which is below your diaphragm. Okay, so therefore you can able to see, the liver is about bigger size. Lobes. Okay. So liver, which going to plays a detoxifies various metabolic and synthesis of protein and produces the biochemical necessary for the digestion and growth. Liver is an accessory digestive organ that produces the main important secretion called as bile and alkaline fluid that contains the cholesterol and bile acid. Okay. So this bile acid fluid mixed with the bicarbonate to form the bile salt, which helps in breaking down of fat. Very important thing is the fat digestion, which is going to take place in the not in the liver, the duodenum, where your bile duct is going to be open into the duodenum, where your fat digestion, your emulsification, which is called as the process, emulsification of fats will be taking place in the duodenum. Emulsification is given by if you are with biochemistry lab here, the fats estimation of your carbohydrate estimation the carbohydrate test. Okay, then lipid test. At that time, you do a emulsification test where your oil, most probably in a lab we are using coconut oil. That coconut oil will mix with alcohol completely and you get a white fluid, white like fluid we call it as emulsification. Or in a day-to-day life, in our kitchen, after washing the vessel, we most probably wash with the detergent. So what happens? This detergent has the capability of dissolving the your fat, your on the oil particles which are in your vessels. Or if you want to do what happens, you take a small test tube and protection, you can take the water, you can put the oil inside that. You can find out the water and the oil will not be mixed with each other and add some of the detergent drops of detergent to that and shake it there. You can find out there the white emulsified fluid. That's called as the emulsification. Okay. The perform cholesterol synthesis and lipogenesis and the production of triglycerides. The triglycerides is the one which will be stored as a the fat will be stored as a triglycerides in the liver and it will be used during the time of your emergency. So the triglyceride is the end product of your fat and it's going to be it's not going to be digested, it's going to be stored just like your glucose. Glucose is also the end product and it will be the excess of glucose, just like that, the excess of fat also will be stored as glycagon. Okay. The glucose, excess of glucose will be stored as a glycagon and likewise the triglycerides also is going to be stored. So during time of starvation or during time of fasting, so these thing will give relief for the energy production, even though you're not having a meal or food for around 2 to 3 days, you can be able to alive. Okay. It produces and excretes the bile required for the emulsification of fat and helps the absorption of vitamin K from the diet. So very important, vitamin K, which plays a major role in the blood clotting mechanism. Then potassium plays a major role in blood clotting. So this will be vitamin K will be absorbed from the absorption process. Right. This is going to be your gallbladder. A small hollow organ where the bile is stored and concentrated before it is released into the small intestine. Okay, you can see the image. You can see the image. So this is going to be a hollow bag-like structure. This is going to be a liver. This is going to be the base of the liver, and this is going to be the stomach, and this is going to be the duodenum, and this is going to be a pancreas. Okay, what we call as pancreas, and the base of the liver. Liver will be one of the stores them. So from the liver, it stores the bile, which has been stored in the gallbladder, a hollow bag-like structure, which will be stored. And in time of digestion, what happens is gallbladder eject the bile into the small intestine. You can find out, you can see the opening is small, this will be duodenum. Part of the small intestine, it is going to easily here into the bile is going to come and mix with your food value, food which comes out and emulsification of that in the duodenum. Okay. That's what the duodenum is going to have the shape. Even you can see the shape of the duodenum is not directly connected to small intestine. It's going to have a curve and then because here the food particle will be moving slowly. Why? Because the bile will get mixed with the food particle. Emulsification takes place. So this is the reason where the emulsification takes place. And after that also it is going to take here is the movement of the food granular, the movement of the particles will be slow when compared to the other. It receives and stores the bile and produced by the liver via the common hepatic duct and releases it via the common bile duct into the duodenum. You can able to visualize that animated video, which will be clearly understand. The bile is in the digestion of fat. Okay. So the biles will be going to do the major process of fat. Then the main function of the liver is to the liver will be destructive of your heart disease. If you get digested, all your heart disease and the destruction of the heart disease takes place by the liver. In case of jaundice, these RBC, the destructive or destructive heart diseases, the RBC has a lifespan around 120 days after production of the RBC. The lifespan of the RBC is 120 days, which are disturbed in time of blood topic. This RBC has to be digested and excreted out. What happens when the liver got infected or the liver function is failed? What happens? This discussion will be done due to that yellowish fluid by secretion will be done. Due to that, there will be increasing in the yellowish pigment in the blood, which we can able to see through the eye and excreted through the uh, excreted through the water, urine with the dark yellow. So depending upon that, and there won't be any hunger feeling at all because there is no digestion of your fat. So due to that, the fat utilization will be taking place, and if you won't be having the feeling of hunger, so all these symptoms and the yellowish color of your eye will be indicate of jaundice and will that we have to start the treatment. Okay. Right. So next, we're going to see the last part of your digestive system is going to be your pancreas, an organ will be used for a leaf-like organ. It just looks like a leaf-like organ of the digestive system, and it's going to be an endocrine system. In human, it is located in the abdomen behind the stomach. Okay, so you can see that I already mentioned that below the stomach, you're going to have the protection. Okay. The pancreas has both an endocrine and the digestive exocrine function. So here it will have both the endocrine as well as the digestive exocrine function. The endocrine gland is a function mostly to regulate the blood glucose level by secreting an hormone called as insulin, glucagon, somatostatin, and pancreatic polypeptide. So these are the enzymes which are secreted by your endocrine gland of your pancreas. In that we usually know about the insulin, which plays a major role in keeping the blood glucose level. Either in hyperglycemia or hypoglycemia cases, your insulin will be maintained normal in the blood glucose level by the hormone called as insulin. The function as an exocrine gland, next we're going to have exocrine, secrete a pancreatic juice into the duodenum through the pancreatic duct. So here we can able to see. So this is going to be a exocrine gland, which is going to secrete the pancreatic juice. Pancreatic juice, nothing that is going to have pancreatic lipase, pancreatic amylase, and pancreatic glycase. Okay. So these pancreatic juice, which is going to be ejected through a duct into the duodenum, that again is going to do the process of breaking down of the carbohydrate, fat, and the lipids. Even pancreatic juice also plays a major role in the digestion of your food package. Okay. The juice contains a bicarbonate. This is a very important thing. The juice contains a bicarbonate which neutralize the acid entering the duodenum from the stomach and the digestive system. So as I said, the chyme which comes out from the stomach is going to be acidic. Okay. Why? Because of the concentrated hydrochloric acid secreted by the oxalic cell. So these acid has to be neutralized by the any bicarbonate. This bicarbonate is present in the pancreatic juice. This makes your this neutralize your acid of the content which can be in the duodenum. Then which breaks down into carbohydrate, protein, and fats in the food particles. As I said, this pancreatic juice will be breaking down pancreatic lipase is going to digest the fat, pancreatic amylase is going to digest the carbohydrate, and pancreatic peptides is going to use to digest the protein. The carbohydrate only are integrate the compound substance carbohydrate. And finally, will become a simple digestive water soluble or non-soluble water soluble thing, which we call as a glucose, and some of the excess of glucose will be stored in the liver as a glycagon, and the protein, the compound substance protein will be converted into simple soluble substance called as the amino amino acids, and the fat, the composite substance, the fat is digested, and finally we have some lipids and triglycerides. This triglycerides will be stored as the safer side in the liver for the emergency time. So within this, your digestive system has been over. Athena sir? Are you there? Athena sir?
Yes, sir, I'm here.
Yeah, today's session of the human digestive system has been over. So we
Yes,
will
sir.
next week Friday. Right, sir?
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay, sir.
Yes, sir. Thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.